on, everybody? Welcome to this week's Niners news update. Today we're going to be, capping off the unfortunate game that was, our second loss to Seattle of the season, a 30-23 loss. For the second time, I thought we would definitely have a chance to beat them, and thought that we should have beaten Seattle in that game. Um,
Yeah, I would agree.
yeah, and the game got off to a, pretty scary start when, you know, kick returner and special teams player Trenton Cannon, also backup running back, while going down to cover the opening kickoff, got run into by his own guy and ended up having to be taken off the field in an ambulance after the collision. And it was actually recently reported as well that he would be placed on IR. So he's at least got to miss 3 games after that. So hopefully he'll be all right because he was a pretty good kick returner for us. I mean, he'd had a number of pretty explosive returns at points. But yeah, so that's how the game started. We did, however, force a good quick 3 and out. Um, Russell completed like his first 3 passes, I want to say, for about 3 or 4 yards total. Forced like a 4th and 6. However, with probably the fake of the season, Seattle ran a perfectly executed fake punt direct snap to running back Travis Homer, who took it 80 yards up the left side of the field for a touchdown to put Seattle up 7-0. So
Yeah, that was one of the
obviously,
most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Obviously, nobody was expecting that on the Niners. They
no,
weren't covering the
no.
edges there, and we got burned. And definitely
Yeah.
set us up for you know, not starting as best as we could. So on our first drive, we would end up going 3 and out and having to punt the ball. And then, as we've mentioned before, the Seahawks, who had their debut of Adrian Peterson making his Seahawks debut, his first carry ever as a Seahawk, went for a loss of 5 yards when Big
Mm.
DJ Jones, who's going to be a free agent next year and hopefully gets re-signed with the team because he deserves to make a lot of money. He's had some great plays this season, and this was probably his best game. But he got in the backfield and just took down Adrian Peterson for a loss of 5. Now, on the very next play, this is why I'm saying that DJ Jones is earning his money. They throw a tight end screen to Gerald Everett, their tight end, and DJ Jones would punch the ball out, which Emmanuel Mosley would recover. So we took over in Seattle territory at the 24. So great field position. We're already down 7-0 at that point. Literally the first play, Jimmy hits Kittle in the back of the end zone between 2 Seattle defenders for a touchdown, and that puts us back in the game 7-7 after the extra point.
Yeah, that
So
was nice. That was just a
yeah,
nice throw, nice catch. All of it was just,
yeah,
and you really needed that turnover there after that, the fake punt play with
yeah,
running 80
yeah,
yards down. I mean, you needed something like
yeah. The,
that to
the
at least,
momentum
to
really
keep
killed
it
us.
going.
So we definitely
Unfortunately,
needed
though,
it.
it seems like that punt return, or I'm sorry, fake punt is kind of what almost sealed it. It was, 30-23, right, at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. So
So
that's
it's like
exactly
it
a
seems like
7 point.
that
Yeah,
one goddamn thing. It's like that's kind of
yeah.
what set it up.
Yeah, it was unfortunate and really something that could have been absolutely prevented. We normally play pretty sound special teams, but we just weren't in a good position there. So a couple plays later, or a couple drives later, I'm sorry, Jimmy threw his first interception of the game, where it was intercepted by Seattle linebacker Bobby Wagner. He ended up getting a nice pick where he just dropped into coverage and just intercepted Jimmy while I think he was looking for Kittle. Um, on the defense's fourth drive of the game, Emmanuel Mosley would exit the game with a high ankle sprain. Now, this is notable because we're already playing without Jason Verrett, our other starting corner, who we haven't had since week 1 against Detroit when he tore his ACL. So now Mosley goes down and he's expected to miss at least 3 weeks. And so, yeah, I mean, both of our top corners are down. Fortunately, we had Diamador Lenore come in, and he, made some plays, but he got beat a couple times as well. So then they also went with Dante Johnson at one point. And then, we also saw some of Ambry Thomas, our other rookie. So we're going to have to see going up against Cincinnati this week because Cincinnati has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and CJ Uzoma and Joe Mixon's a good running back who can also catch passes. So Cincinnati's got a pretty good offense. So not a team that you want to go into banged up without your top two corners, but hopefully we'll be all right. Luckily we've got pretty good depth though, so hopefully we can get through it.
Yeah, that had to help Russell there that game, having the defense banged up, because he hasn't had a great season. So
Yeah,
that probably made things a bit easier for him, to keep
yeah,
the game just slightly ahead like that.
yeah. That's true. That is very true. Now on the very next play, Bosa would end up getting to Russell Wilson and forcing a fumble, a sack fumble, and a huge loss of 23 yards. Now Seattle did recover the ball, um, but yeah,
So 23 yards
yeah,
lost. I mean,
yeah.
that's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, but Bosa able to get his 12th sack of the season. So 12 games, 12 sacks as we continue to monitor that situation.
Yeah, let's hope that if that goes one a game the whole fucking season,
Yeah,
that is gonna be
he'll finish with 17 if that's the case.
great.
Yeah, yeah. And then let's see here. So basically, at that point, they were in like a third and forever situation. So Russell went on a scramble, picked up a few yards, and they ended up attempting a 56-yard field goal, which was missed wide right. So the Niners take over with really good field position. We end up going on a 9-play, 46-yard drive after the missed field goal, and end up capping the drive with Elijah Mitchell getting his 5th rushing touchdown of the season to put us ahead 14-7. So that was the score at the end of the first quarter, 14-7. The Niners would also go ahead a couple drives later and add a 50-yard Robbie Gould field goal to go up 17-7. So at this point, it was basically starting like our first game against Seattle, when I think we were up 21-7 at one point, before Jimmy got hurt. So we got out. We both in both games we got out to really great starts against them, and we just couldn't finish.
Yeah, at that point when it was 17-7, I kind of figured, I was like, all right, this is
Yeah.
looking like it's in the bag.
Yeah.
Like in hindsight, I said the whole thing sealed it, but that's in hindsight. Obviously in the beginning of the game, you didn't know that, but it seems like, when you know the final score, you're like, man, if that one thing hadn't happened.
Yeah,
but obviously you can say that about anything,
yeah,
I guess.
Seattle's just, such a, they really have our number, like we mentioned before, Russell's won 15 of his 19 starts against the Niners, and that's 4 straight for the Seahawks against us. So
yeah,
they've kind of been our kryptonite. Like, we're the Rams' kryptonite, and they definitely are ours. But yeah, so Seattle would pull within one touchdown, or I'm sorry, within one score on a rushing touchdown by Adrian Peterson, his first as a Seahawk and 126th of his career. Which
I hate to be happy about that at all, but I like AP, so I'm well, good for him. At least he got a touch, but it sucks because you guys lost the game. But
it moved him into 10th all time. So as he
shit.
continues
Nice.
trying to move up there with 126 touchdowns. So at that point, the game's 17-14. So then Jimmy would find Kittle on a short pass in the flat, which Kittle would actually take 48 yards for the score to the house for his second touchdown of the game. But Robbie would end up missing the extra point. Now, that's the first extra point Robbie's missed all season. So that was kind of a bummer. And then that kept our lead at 9. So at that point, we were up 23-14. And then the Seahawks would get in within one touchdown right before the half on a last-minute drive where Russell Wilson throws his first touchdown pass of the game to rookie receiver Dwayne Eskridge to make the game 23-21 at the half. So we were still up at the half. We won the first quarter. We won the second quarter. We were definitely up at that point. But unfortunately, this is the point where, we kind of
shit the bed.
Yeah, shit the bed, exactly. So we get the ball coming out of the half, and Travis Benjamin, who's filling in, by the way, for Trenton Cannon, who's our return guy. He got obviously taken to the hospital earlier. But Travis Benjamin filling in there as the return guy. And he gets stripped of the ball. The opening kickoff of the second half. So Seattle recovers, already in the red zone with great field position. So fortunately, Seattle gets all the way down, to the 5-yard line. But very fortunately, Russ is looking for tight end Gerald Everett. And Gerald Everett's their tight end who fumbled earlier. This is notable to mention him because he's been involved in a lot of turnovers in this game. But he's falling on his back trying to make the catch, and he like kicks the ball up in the air, and it ends up getting intercepted by Kwan Williams, who would run the ball back out to about the Niners 5. Um, would have been better if he would have, just because he
Taking the
intercepted it in
touchback
the end zone. Yeah,
in the
taking
end
the
zone and
touchback.
gotten. Yeah, why
And
would
the
you do
reason
that?
I
Like,
mention that is because we failed to take advantage of that, and 3 plays later, after 2 unsuccessful run plays, um, Jimmy would be sacked in the end zone by Carlos Dunlap for a
mm,
safety to tie the game at 23-23. And the thing about a safety is you also, in addition to giving up the points, you have to punt the ball back to Seattle so they get the ball right back. So now we did start, our defense did play pretty well at that point, especially Aziz Al-Shair. He was really, he's been playing great. And in this game we didn't have Fred Warner, so he really had to step up. And we were
yeah,
also without Marcel Harris, our other linebacker, because he had a concussion. No Debo in this game, so we were without several key players. Not to make any excuses, but obviously those are players that make your whole offense work, or your whole team work. But yeah, we ended up getting good pressure on Russell Wilson. We ended up getting 4 sacks on him on the day. One on the ensuing drive after they got the ball back from the safety. We ended up getting a big sack on third down, and Seattle would end up punting the ball back. So then Jimmy would hit Ayuk late in the third quarter for his first catch of the day. Ayuk didn't catch any passes until the third quarter. He ended up finishing with 3 for 55, being the top wide receiver in Debo's absence. But he did gain 21 yards on a 3rd and 5. But on the so yeah, we convert a 3rd and 5, and then on the very next play, Jimmy throws his second interception of the game. So
Jimmy.
yeah. So Jimmy did have 2 touchdowns in the game to George Kittle, but he also had 2 picks in this game. And Jimmy,
Mm.
historically, as we do, he tends to struggle like we do against Seattle. Some of his worst games are usually against the Hawks. But Russell would go on to throw a 12-yard touchdown pass to Lockett, who was the big hero against Washington last week, although not really
Yeah.
because they didn't
I
win.
mean, they didn't win, but yeah,
Yeah,
he was. He
yeah,
was. He got all the
yeah.
big. Yeah.
But that would put Seattle ahead 30-23 going into the fourth quarter, and it looked like the Seahawks were going to be able to put the game away with about 4 minutes left because they were about to go up and score again. But Russell threw a quick shovel pass to his running back. I think it was Rashad Penny. It wasn't Adrian Peterson at that point, and the ball was actually fumbled at like the 1 yard line. So the Niners recover it. So I mean, in this game, Seattle had 4 turnovers. We had 3. The 2 Jimmy interceptions, and then the 1 Travis Benjamin fumble. Um, which you can look at any number of things and say that either of those interceptions didn't happen, if that fumble coming out of the half didn't happen, or if that fake punt didn't happen, we probably
Yeah, I was noticing
any
that.
of
I was
those
like,
one
there's
things
like
didn't
a
happen.
whole bunch of
Yeah,
things that
yeah.
actually, if
Like
like
if just
one of them
any
didn't
one of
happen,
those
like,
things didn't happen, we'd have won. Yeah. So
yeah,
and we
damn.
even had a shot. So we're backed up at our own 1, and Jimmy hits Kittle on a great gain of 29 yards. To get them out of being backed up and potentially taking another safety.
Yeah,
Kittle had
don't
his
need that.
best game of the season. He had 9 catches for 181 yards and 2
Ooh,
touchdowns. Yeah, so Kittle was great.
damn.
Yeah. So we on this drive, like Jimmy's like 5 for 5 getting the ball down there. So like everybody always says Jimmy's not good in the clutch moments. He gets us all the way down into the red zone, and we hit Ayuk for his 3rd catch of the game. He gets it down to the 7, so it's 1st and goal from the 7. We come out, we try to run 2 straight times with Elijah Mitchell and get like 2 yards. So really not getting much. So on 3rd and goal, we have to throw. And there was a questionable pass. And Jimmy's looking for Trent Shearfield. And like he gets tackled before the ball gets there, but there's no call for pass interference. So it's like, what the hell? So that forces 4th and goal with 22 seconds to go. And with 22 seconds to go, Carlos Dunlap, the guy who got the sack of Jimmy in the end zone earlier, bats the ball down at the line when Jimmy was looking for Trent Sherfield again, which,
Mm.
4th and goal, Seattle takes over with like 18 seconds left and knees it out for the win. And you figure, if that's a game where we've got Debo in there, maybe that's where we're looking in those clutch moments is for Debo. But Yeah,
Yeah, that could have easily been a winnable game. I mean,
it
and
could
it
have.
came down to the wire. It really
Yeah,
did. I mean, that's
it
one of
really
those
did. I
games,
mean,
like just like the Washington game. It
we were
came down to the
at the
last.
5, yeah, with a chance
Yeah,
to win at the end of the game. So we definitely had a shot. Um, yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, um, as far as injury news, Trenton Cannon and and Emmanuel Mosley are both going to be going on IR. So they're both
mm,
going to miss at least a minimum of 3 games each. Dre Greenlaw and Elijah Mitchell are both set to miss this game, but Debo and Fred Warner are both projected to play. They're both as questionable, and they did practice on Friday. So getting Debo and Fred back would be a huge addition, even if
yeah,
we
that's
don't
a
have
big help.
Elijah Mitchell. I do expect us to have the running backs of Jeff Wilson, and it's going to be Wilson and Jermichael Hasty that get most of the carries this week. So that'll be worth monitoring. But we've got the
Definitely.
Bengals. They've got 3, dangerous receivers and a good tight end in Uzoma. And I think Joe Burrow's a really talented young quarterback, and their defense has only gotten better. So definitely going to be something to keep an eye on because Cincinnati's not the easy. When I first saw that Cincinnati was our 17th win or 17th game of the season, I got excited because I was like, oh, okay, But Cincinnati's been a hot team this year, so I'm not looking at it as excitingly. So hopefully we still win.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they got some weapons there. But join us next week as we recap the Bengals game, and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we will get back on the winning track. It was nice to win the 3 straight. Would have been nice to win that one, but we're still, if the season ended today, still in wild card position. So we just got to keep it going, and all you can do is win one game at a time. And
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Tune in next week as we recap next week's game, and take it easy, everybody.